call this meeting to order. Please notice in the corner and we'll pledge allegiance to the flag, which is good, we didn't have it last time. So, ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't understand visions. I assume there are no public comments. Then let's move on to the role of accreditation for boards. I assume, Jane, you're going to be our facilitator.
Great, thank you. What I have up on the screens is the portion of this document that I sent out to you that is a guide to accreditation for governing boards. And Article 3.3,
Page 10.
right, is where it actually lays out all of the items. But I actually would like to start at 3.1, so if I can figure out how to get back here. I'll go to 3.1. Okay. So it's not that long. Is it okay with you if we kind of just go through it paragraph by paragraph, and if anybody has a question? 3 point.
Page 8.
Oh, you missed it.
I don't either.
Oh, that's a lot.
It goes from 9 to 11 on his, so he doesn't have
Oh,
page 10,
No, none of these have it.
page 10
Graciela?
or 14.
You know what, Jen? Gracio's not here. We'll need to make copies for
Mine, but
You
it's
can
not
take it from mine and make copies. But the pages you need are,
So it's every other page?
Yeah.
She didn't do it back to back. She didn't realize it was two-sided or?
take this and you'll see which pages are missing. It's like every other page.
Well, it's okay, we'll wait until we get the
Well, we
correct
can
pages.
go over 3.1
Okay,
right now.
you've got it right there, all right. So this is governing boards and American Community College, American Commissions, Association of, got it?
Community college, junior colleges,
I-
California.
Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges. Yes, Accrediting Commission. And then what I was referring to in my interview was WASC,
Yeah,
Western
which is
Association
what-
of Schools and Colleges, the overarching.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. As noted in the first section of the guide, the purpose of regional accreditation is to assure and improve the quality of higher education to support student success. Governing boards have a primary leadership role and responsibility for guiding institutions to, number one, achieve the mission of student success, and two, assure academic quality, integrity, and effectiveness. Governing boards fulfill this responsibility through institutional policies and by delegating responsibility for implementation of policies and the pursuit of mission. And our mission again, the Yosemite Community College District is committed to responding to the needs of our diverse community through excellence in teaching, learning, and support programs contributing to social, cultural, and economic development and wellness. So you've not only covered, the programs and what supports them, but also the fact that we contribute to the greater social, cultural, and economic development of the community and also wellness. I mean, we really covered a lot in that mission. Governing boards hold the CEO accountable for policy implementation and fulfillment of the college mission. So I want to make sure I know what it is. By extension, governing boards set policies that hold all constituencies of the institution accountable for performance relating to implementation of policies and pursuit of mission. While the governance role of the board is centered on policy and delegation to the CEO and other institutional leaders and constituencies, the board has responsibilities beyond governance, responsibilities for the mission and ultimately for the success of the students. And that's a huge, huge thing. The four accreditation standards describe the educational and institutional practices, the organizational structures, the resources and institution decision-making processes that are necessary conditions for a high-quality institution and for student success. Standards 1 and 4 describe some of the specific roles of governing boards in assuring that the institution produces high-quality educational services and works to achieve and improve student success. However, the board's responsibility for institutional effectiveness is exercised through its policy-making role and the delegation of policy implementation to college staff through the CEO. The governing board is responsible for adopting policy language that directs the institutional employees to good practice and for examining how well the institution is meeting its goals for educational effectiveness and for student achievement and learning. So you can see some of the reports and things that you need to be asking for are those things that are going to give you the information that you need. The governing board is also responsible for the fiscal integrity of the institution. The board exercises its responsibility in fiscal matters through policy and by its review of the annual external audit and approval of the institution's annual spending plans. The governing board is responsible for developing the expertise needed to make sound budgetary decisions that support educational quality, including an understanding of the institution's current and projected revenues and expenditures, and the institution's long-term obligations created through contractual agreements, borrowing, and plans for institutional expansion. You were asking about the issues with
retirement and
right.
facilities.
And the unfunded
Our unfunded
pension liability because of the, right.
So if I question is now time to answer?
Sure, I think we should.
Okay. And I don't have the sheet, it's a big copy. But to what extent should we be aware of how money is spent?
Well, let's go back, because that's a really, really good question. You're responsible for the fiscal integrity of the institution. You exercise its responsibility in fiscal matters through policy and by review of the annual external audit and approval of the institution's annual spending plans. If you have issues in a district, then that's when I've seen boards, get really involved. If you have issues like audit issues, but my understanding is
We have good audits.
really good audits.
But I have a question about all of this new money for student success. We have no idea how it's being spent, except it keeps some names show up, the high this person, kind of that. What is the appropriate role of the board in knowing, even knowing how it's being spent?
Well, how it's being spent is so prescribed in California. It's like the student success funds, it's like a list of what you can use that money for. But what you need to be really concerned about is what's happening as a result of what's being done. Because the whole purpose of the student success is to make sure that students are not only succeeding each semester, but getting to completion of their goals. Because in California, our statistics are not good. The scorecard, for example.
Okay, so but not since this is the first year of student success.
Oh no, this is like fifth or sixth.
The funds, the new gobs of money that came.
No, student success has been around for about 5 years. Equity started a couple years ago. That might be what you're
Maybe I'm
thinking
referring to
of.
the wrong one, but I know that it's gobs of money.
Yeah, again,
I mean, we have hired so many people in the last 12 months, and it's all because of new money. They keep talking about, they're going to the Silvermont and and they bring in all these speakers because of all this new money. So there was a whole bunch in the last
Yeah.
budget.
Thank you.
well, I'll tell you what, one of the things you need to think about is getting involved in what happens at the state level, because the way that our institutions are funded, instead of like the UCs and the CSUs and the rest of the country, where you have 5 revenue streams, and you decide how you spend it, we have like 35 revenue streams, which means that everything comes very prescribed. We have about this much money where we can decide how we're going to be spending that money. So what I'm saying, Ann, is that I think where the board needs to be paying attention is what's happening with that money. What are the results of that?
So how do we get the results other than the scorecard?
We have to look at, what I'd like to do with you is to sit down with the plan and what the outcomes are supposed to be. And let's take a look at what's actually happening. Are we seeing increases in the number of students that are being retained? In equity, what they had to do was to identify what are the populations that are being what they call disproportionately impacted. So it's the populations that really are failing at a much higher rate than other students. Across the state, one of the populations has been males of color. And so that's been as a target. And so what they're doing is putting in place, specific services, whatever. And what we need to look at down the road is what's happening with that population. Are we seeing the improvements that we want to? That's where the board has a very important role, is looking at the outcomes.
Understand it. Are you speaking that we get something other than just the report annual with the scorecard?
Absolutely.
Because I don't think that we
There's
do.
a lot in here about requesting reports.
Right. I think that's a very, very critical part. Your focus is on student success. And I can tell you that it's kind of like moving a big ship. It's not that you can move something really quickly. And one of the things California does, equity funding was, mandated, but didn't become available till the middle of the year. And then you're supposed to spend it by the end of the year. That's why you see things going in 25 different directions, because of, people are trying their hardest to make a difference and to do the right thing. But the way that they roll these things out makes it almost impossible sometimes. It really does. And so I think it's really important to take a look at what's happening. It's not that, because what you can say is, we're just not seeing the results of this. And, what are you doing? Because you're not seeing the results that you want. And then they're the ones that need to come up with the changes that are going to be made to try and move in the right direction. But yeah, as far as being able to spend it a different way, it's really prescribed. It's very, very prescribed. And you'll see that once we look at the plan.
Okay, then I'll ask you.
What percentage of the budget are we allowed to decide how to use?
Discriminatory? Discretionary, sorry, discriminatory. Sorry about the other. Discretionary. I'm not sure what it is here. It's so small. It's like, what, 85%, I think, of the budget is personnel, of the general unrestricted.
The city council has the same thing.
Yeah.
It's 80% of the budget goes to police and fire.
Right.
So,
Right. And this, especially when you have a smaller institution,